On September 27, 1996, the world woke to a city under siege. Kabul, the beating heart of Afghanistan, had fallen. But this wasn't just a battle for a city. It was the day a shadow force swept into power and changed the course of history. Who were they? How did they rise so fast? And why did the world simply watch? Afghanistan in the 1990s was a nation shattered. The Soviets had withdrawn after a decade of brutal war. But peace never came. Instead, rival warlords carved the country into fiefdoms. Ordinary Afghans were trapped between hunger, violence, and chaos. Refugee camps overflowed. Roads were controlled by bandits. Schools were silent. Out of this darkness emerged a new force, calling themselves the Taliban. Their message was simple: order, purity, and strict Islamic law. To some villagers, they brought safety. No more checkpoints, no more bribes. To others, terror cloaked in religion. By 1996, they had swept across Afghanistan, town after town, falling with barely a fight. Only Kabul remained, a city of 2 million, still ruled by the crumbling government of President Rabbani and his military commander, Ahmad Shah Massoud. Massoud was called the Lion of Panjshir, a brilliant guerrilla fighter. Could he stop them? Comment yes if you think he had a chance. No if you think the Taliban's rise was inevitable. On the night of September 26, Kabul's residents heard the thunder of artillery from the outskirts. By dawn, Taliban convoys rolled through the city gates. Massoud and the government forces had already retreated to the north. Kabul was abandoned. Their first act was brutal. Former Afghan President Mohammad Najibullah, who had sought refuge at the UN compound, was dragged out with his brother. They were beaten, tortured, then hanged from a traffic post in the city center, a warning to all who opposed them. People who had lived through decades of war watched in silence. Women rushed to cover themselves. Music shops shut their doors. Television screens went black. Kabul had fallen, without a major battle. But in its silence, a new storm was brewing. Type in the chat, was this fate, or a takeover the world should have stopped? The world looked on, uncertain. Some saw the Taliban as a stabilizing force, others as a nightmare reborn. Within days, women were stripped of their rights, barred from work and school. Music, television, even laughter in public, banned. And in the shadows, the Taliban gave sanctuary to a man, Osama bin Laden, freshly arrived from Sudan. His network of fighters began to train openly on Afghan soil. September 27, 1996, wasn't just the fall of Kabul. It was the opening chapter of a conflict the world is still living with today. As you watch this now, imagine the streets of Kabul that morning, silent except for the roar of pickups and the flutter of white flags. Was this the birth of a new Afghanistan, or the beginning of 2 decades of war? Was it inevitable, or could history have taken another path? The answers lie buried in the mountains of Afghanistan, and in the memories of those who witnessed that day. Perhaps the real story of September 27, 1996, will never be fully told.